Hi, thank you so much for having time to chat today. Before we begin, do you mind sharing where in the US you are from?
Yeah, so I am from South Carolina, which is in the southern region of the United States.
Amazing. Today I would love to discuss with you what is considered a prominent cultural difference between France and the United States, meal culture.
Yeah, there are a lot of differences regarding meal culture between France and the US, absolutely.
What have you noticed about meal culture between France and the US that might be an adjustment for people coming from France to America?
So, a big difference is the time taken to eat lunch during the day. In France, lunch is usually 1 to 2 hours with little to no rush. So, whether this is at home or at a restaurant, lunch is usually eaten and enjoyed in one place. In the US, however, lunch is eaten more quickly out of convenience. So, this can be anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on the situation. In most American schools, students usually have about 30 minutes of lunchtime in the school cafeteria, and drive-thrus and takeout culture are very common in America also, and eating in the car is very normalized.
It sounds like lunch is very convenience based, especially with drive-thrus. So, what about dinner?
In France, dinner is not just about food. It is usually very structured and intentional. A typical French dinner might include a starter with an entree, maybe a cheese or a salad, with a dessert, and maybe a coffee to finish. This structure is so important that the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization recognizes the gastronomic meal of the French as cultural heritage. However, the US does not have as well established a dinner structure.
I'm curious to hear more about this contrast. What else makes dinner culture different between the two countries?
Time is definitely a big difference. In France, dinner usually starts around 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., again with little to no rush. However, it is normal for dinner to be anywhere from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. In the US. So during the week, dinners can usually be quick to accommodate household busyness. It is also very common for American families to have leftovers from a meal and eat them throughout the week. So overall, there is more flexibility and convenience around meals in the US.
I absolutely agree. What about hosting?
So when hosting in the US, dinner parties tend to feel more like casual get-togethers, and potlucks are very common. People often help themselves to their meal at these gatherings rather than being served by the host or hostess.
That's good to know. Thank you for elaborating on these differences.
Anytime, absolutely.